Welcome back. And we are excited to have with us our special guest, Jeremy Garcia. He's the author of the book, listen to this, Woofer Learns Hygiene. Woofer Learns Hygiene. Such an interesting title. Jeremy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Great, great, great. Thank you for joining us. Briefly introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about you.
Okay, well, my name is Jeremy, and I currently have a job. I live here with my dad out in Las Vegas, and I actually recently just moved here about almost 6 months ago, and I'm really liking it.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So I noticed your book, Woofer Learns Hygiene. Tell me, I noticed it's animated and it looks like it's written for children. So what was the inspiration for you writing this book, Woofer Learns Hygiene?
Honestly, it was just a something I wanted to do. I had moved out on my own at 18, uh, turned 19. I had nothing to do, my first apartment. I just started writing stories and found out I could publish it, and I did. And this particular story, Woofer Learns Hygiene, I picked that title because I figured parents would want to buy that for their children. And I know that it's important for that age too.
Okay, so parents would want to buy it for their children. Well, why the subject hygiene? I noticed, Woofer had to learn, why do I have to take a shower and why is it important to take a shower? And then the inspiration to reach out to a young audience. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've ever really thought about it. I know personally, I like to have good hygiene. And so I think with children, it's important for them to learn hygiene at a young age because it's just important. You don't want to smell bad or get a skin infection or something like. And another thing is actually in my book, I I explained uh, why you should brush your teeth. I know, like me, obviously, most people have had a toothache before. Um, I don't know why, but I really care about my teeth because if they're not, if I'm not taking care of them, they hurt, they cause issues in my mouth, and it's not a good thing. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, so that's powerful. So I guess would it be safe to say that the focus and the intent is to allow children to become knowledgeable at an early age of the importance of hygiene? And I noticed with the illustrations, there's not a lot of writing, which means it's going to be very easy for a child to learn to read and to read with their parents. So that was an excellent approach to take to make it so simple that children will be able to understand and that they won't be afraid of hygiene. So that's powerful. So the concept and the illustrations, what type of inspiration did you have for the illustrations and things that you put in the book?
Oh yeah. So for the illustrations, yes, I was really focused on that because if you look at other children's books, not to, talk any other author down, but I understand that mine is very unique. And personally, I wanted my illustrations to be very realistic.
Okay, powerful, realistic. Now, did you have someone working with you when you did the illustrations, or are those something that you produced and did yourself?
Yes, I didn't necessarily do the illustrations myself, but I did direct them.
Okay, okay. So how does that work? You directing, you writing the book, you're having to go to a place where you can just get into the minds of young people, and now you're working with an illustrator. How was that process of you explaining as you wanted to cause your vision to come alive in order to put in this and make Woofer really become alive to the people who are going to be reading this powerful book?
So obviously the the image was in my mind, and how I got the information to the illustrator was I had to write it out. I actually had to write it out almost if it was a script, a movie script. I had to explain the background, and I had to put the character in very detailed description as well. So
Wow.
yes,
Is it safe to say that in you writing this book, explaining it to the illustrator, I heard you say you had to write it out and you
yes,
had to put the specifics of the way you wanted the character. It's sort of like directing a movie. So you actually
exactly,
directed this book.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly how it was for me. Yeah.
that's quite interesting. Have you had any thoughts? You talk about the book, you did some directing there. Are there any thoughts or dreams of causing the book to actually become an animated short movie or anything like that?
Yeah, that's really interesting you asked. So, I actually have a passion, and it wasn't ever to write a book or publish a kid's story, but I really want to be a movie director, and I know writing is really one of the important parts of being a director, and so that's kind of what it reminded me of, and it actually gave me that what's the word? It gave me that experience as to the beginning of a script for a movie.
Oh, well, that's powerful. So this is the first step. So what you're doing then, the book, would it be safe to say then, as I'm listening to you, that the book is the first step towards you really going to fulfilling your dreams to become a movie director?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes.
That's interesting. Interesting. So
Yeah.
now here Woofer is. He's learning about hygiene and all these things that are so important. He's learning about the importance of brushing his teeth and hygiene as a whole. And so with the movie moving forward, what would be your entry point when you talk about writing and directing this movie? I find this very fascinating.
So I'm actually I actually haven't planned to, make a movie out of this book, or even a TV show, but I think there's a big possibility for a TV show, but I haven't thought about that yet. My main goal is really just to get myself and or my book and I noticed.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's my main goal, is just to get my book and I noticed.
So you bring attention to the book. Let me ask you this question. Have you had any attention that's been drawn to you from the book? Has the book been read? Are you getting any comments, any insight from what people are thinking about the book? I read it. I think it's quite fascinating because it's an easy read and it's a teachable tool. So talk to us about that when you want to get it noticed. What are some of the things you're doing to get noticed?
Okay, well, when I first had published the book, so they send me a copy, and back back so when I had moved out on my own, when I was 18, I was going through a youth group at a local church,
Okay.
and this was actually out in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So it's 16 hours away from Las Vegas, Nevada, and that's where I was living at the time. And um, I wasn't going for at least a good year or so, and the pastor at the youth group, um, I wanted to share, hey, I published this kids book. I was excited, and because I had gone through the youth group, he wanted to bring me in to talk about the book, um, and and let the youth group, the kids and teenagers, about how I did it and all that.
Yeah.
And normally when I was going, there was like, maybe between 10 to 15 kids that would come every week. But that particular night, I brought my book. There was like a full classroom. So I thought, wow, that was really interesting.
Wow. So that's powerful. So a pastor brought you in, you introduced the book, you saw the audience increase. What type of feedback did you get from the kids and the young people who were there while you were talking about the book?
Well, they asked some very deep questions that I didn't have answers to, like, how much am I going to be making? And, really similar questions to that.
Yeah, so they were interested in how much money you were going to get from writing the book. So
Yeah.
did anyone ask about the character, Woofer? Did anybody, none of them asked about Woofer and things of that nature?
Not that I recall.
Okay.
I don't quite remember. It was a while ago. So
Talk to me about this. Where did the name Woofer, what inspired you to come up with this name, Woofer Learns Hygiene? Where did the name Woofer come from? Is it a childhood friend, someone you've known, or how did you actually come up with the name?
yeah, I'm glad you asked. So Woofer is supposedly supposed to be a German name. And so if you look at the illustrations of the book, you can kind of tell that Woofer and his parents are actually German.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So Woofer and his parents are German. What inspired you to be, German, a German name? When you mentioned that, yes, it does ring a bell, Woofer German. So what was the driving force that would cause him to be of German descent? What was that?
I just wanted to be unique with my characters. And I was gonna say, so the real term for woofer is actually like a woof, like instead of the double O, there's an
Yes.
L. It would have been more realistically Wolfer, so WOLFER.
Okay.
And I wanted to take the L out to make it more American.
If they want to purchase the book, how can they do that?
Oh yeah, so it's available all over online. Barnes and Noble has it, the famous bookstore, and then also Amazon. It's at any supermarket online, Walmart, Target.
Excellent. So thank you so much for being with us today, Jeremy, and congratulations on the book. We wish you much success. This has been Dr. Larry Carnes. Our special guest has been Jeremy Garcia. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Okay, thank you.